You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, presented by the Nation Network. Subscribe for free on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Is my mic on now?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to Oilers Nation Radio, episode 60. I am Bagged Milk. To my right is the Nation Dan, Rick, and Nick. To my left is Tyler Remchuk running the board. This is episode 60. Is this the Basellion episode?
This is Sebastian Basellion episode.
Finally made it.
Is it actually?
No.
What number was he?
61.
Oh, next week.
I'm bringing in a cake next week.
That's your time to shine, buddy.
I think it's 62. No, it's 61. No, it is 60.
I'm going to
There you go.
DM.
We did
Did
it.
you get it from the
We
safe
did
when
it.
he
He
worked
is 60?
Basellion 60.
Damn it. I was like, we should get him on for episode 61.
60.
Maybe we will.
Episode 60.
Next week, if I get him on, can we do episode 60 part 2?
Absolutely. No doubt.
Thank you.
I want to go ahead and start this podcast by thanking our friends at Sherwood Ford. Go ahead and follow them on Twitter at Sherwood Ford and on Instagram at Sherwood Ford _the Giant. This month, we partnered up with Sherwood Ford to do Movember. I'm looking around the room right now. Dan bullied Nick into shaving his beard into arguably one of the greatest handlebar mustaches I've ever seen. However,
He looks good.
he looks great. Very handsome. My problem with Nick's face right now is that he didn't join the mustache to the sideburns as I requested. But you know what? It's possible. I'll accept it.
Well, so Nick, there's a little backstory here because Nick has really wanted to work for the Nation for a while. And he told, I believe it was Wanye, that he is willing to eat shit for this company.
Human feces.
And so I was like, well, man, because the day before he didn't want to do it. And I was like, well, you told us you were willing to eat shit. And this is your shit. And it's not, it's a great cause. And I know you support it no matter what.
Of course.
But
The worst part about it is I cut my chin because I haven't shaved my chin in like 4
Confirmed.
years.
There's quite a gash
There's
in
a
his chin.
gash on my
Yeah.
chin. So that's the worst part about it. But
And also, you didn't tell your missus you were doing this.
I did not. Well, I did, but she hasn't seen it yet.
Nice.
Yes.
Are you nervous about that?
Well, it is what it is. I mean,
so ladies, there may be a bachelor tomorrow.
But like, you know what? No, I'm not going to.
Come on. Let's go, Ty.
Speaking
Well,
as
like,
a
you
man
wouldn't
with
be-
a child and
Let's
a wife
have a
of
little. I'd like
2
to have
years.
a little relationship talk with Tyler. You're right now.
You would never get mad at her if she got a haircut that you didn't like.
No.
So then there you go. That's the end of this whole debate. If she doesn't like it, you tell her. If you ever get a bad haircut, we're still good. So if I do my mustache like this for a month, we're good.
I know.
That looks great.
But at the same time, it's like, what am I supposed to do now? It's done.
Our
Like,
boy
it's-
from-
there's
You
nothing.
You could shave it all off.
I
Speaking
could.
of shaving
I
it
could.
all off,
That would look worse though.
our boy from Sherwood Ford, David,
Oh yeah.
he went right down to the stock.
He cleaned everything up.
He did. We're going to be posting that photo here right away.
He looks like some of the delicious hard-boiled eggs he was eating at the Oilers Nation Open back in August.
That man,
We should mention that we're doing this in conjunction with Sherwood Ford.
Of course.
he did. All right.
Oh, you did. Okay.
They're
yeah.
partners.
So,
Come on, Nick,
yeah.
listen to the podcast.
Nick Klaus.
We are going to
expect other
have
people
Some
to.
cramming in for some hot segments for this episode. So
We are going to have a link where to donate to the Movember team. Again, Oilers Nation, Sherwood Ford, we're teaming up for Movember. We're going to raise as much money as possible for an excellent cause. And more importantly, just as importantly, I should say, the boys are going to look great. They're going to be very, very handsome. And I support them in their handsomeness.
This is hot.
Exactly. We're going to start talking a little Oilers now by discussing what's going on with Riley Sheahan.
Oilers now.
Are we talking about Oilers now or are we talking about Riley
We could
Sheahan?
talk about Oilers now. It is a radio show on TSN 1260.
Whoa.
They're big Jesse Pugliarvi fans I've heard over there.
Listen,
on Oilers
TSN
Now?
1260 is Bob Stauffer's fallback plan. All right. No, it's on Shed. Let's get that right.
We are going to talk about the Oilers starting now. How's that?
That works.
Okay.
Better? Riley Sheahan left Wednesday's game against Columbus with an upper body injury. He took a hit in the corner from Pierre-Luc Dubois. Obviously in some pain, left, did not return. No real update on what's going on with him yet. However, Colby Cave recalled for today. William Lagesson sent down. So I want to start off with Colby Cave first before we get to Lagesson. Where do you think he slots in? Is he just taking Sheahan's spot or is he sliding in maybe somewhere else? Tyler, what do you think?
Well, first of all, Riley Sheahan could still play tomorrow. He hasn't been placed on IR or anything like that. There's been no roster move made with Sheahan.
He was practicing this morning.
Yeah, so I think this
shock.
is just an insurance policy more than anything right now. They already had, like, Lagesson was the 8th defenseman with Pearson now healthy. So I think this honestly might have happened regardless. Like they might have just said, Lagesson, you got to play, man, and we need an extra forward up here. So it's Colby Cave. So there's a chance that this has nothing to do with Riley Sheahan's injury, but it's a good insurance policy to have. If he does play, he's playing on the fourth line, and I think it's as simple as that.
The Lagesson recall was strange because he came up on like October 17th or something and never played a game.
Got paychecks, though.
Couple of paychecks.
Agreed.
He might have said that earlier this year, like, hey, listen, I love playing a lot in the American League, but I'm 24, 25 now. Can you guys maybe, when you see fit, try to squeeze me up here, even if I don't play?
That's a lot of power. I like that.
Because like what? I think I'm just doing this off the top of my head. Go to puckpedia.com to check for sure. But it's like, I think he gets $700K somewhere in there at the NHL level and 60 in the AHL.
Yeah.
So he probably cleared his whole year's salary in the last 2 weeks.
A friend of a friend type of thing plays in the American Hockey League, and there was a stretch, he's a goaltender, where the NHL team starting goalie got hurt, and he went up for 3 weeks. He appeared in one game, and he came up for 3 weeks, and he was like, man, I made more than I made in my entire AHL career up to that point. Like, some people don't realize, like, oh, it sucks. Why did they bring Lagesson up and not play him? He is not complaining.
Hold on, let's see if we can figure this out. Was that Sheen Starrett?
No, not in the Oilers organization.
Okay.
Tyler has so many friends is what we're learning.
Yeah.
This is going to be tough.
Not a big deal.
Vegas organization?
No.
We're bearing the lead, though. We were supposed to be talking about where Colby Cave is going to be sliding in.
And now we're talking about my friends of friends dating people, yeah.
I don't know. If he does play, it makes sense that he'll just slide in on that fourth line with Granlund and Russell, right? I mean, the top, as much as we've talked endlessly about how the bottom six isn't scoring, those top three lines have played together now for what, almost 3 games now? At least 2 games, right? So it doesn't really make sense to break up, especially the third line, just for the sake of putting Colby Cave up there, right? So
I'd like
especially
to see
because it's Colby Cave.
fair enough.
How dare you? How dare you?
He had 3 assists in the AHL.
He's a serviceable player.
That's cool.
He's fine. He'll be fine. And he's not going to be...
No, he's not going to be fine. That's why they put him in the AHL the first opportunity they got.
He's going to be fine.
That's what we're okay with here nowadays. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We're okay with fine. If he's going to be in the lineup...
Rick would like us to call up Kyler Yamamoto to play center.
Here's what I like about Colby Cave.
Completely wrong, but yes, if you're going to bring him up for a fucking 2 weeks. You guys know this, and it's being happening all around the NHL.
See, I think they should have called up Brad Malone.
You're too afraid to fucking challenge your highest prospect.
I'm scared of Kyler Yamamoto.
No, they're afraid to call him up.
Yeah, I like Colby Cave because he doesn't make mistakes, right? Like, sometimes there'll be moments where Granlund does something and you'll be like, what the hell are you doing right now, man? Or like certain bottom 6 players, I just really want to take a shot at Granlund again.
Of course you do.
But with Cave, you never notice him like doing anything wrong. The problem is he just does not do anything well.
So that just means Haas is not going to center, right? Because if you put Haas at center, I would have brought up like a Josh Curry or something like that.
Haas is at center.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but Colby Cave can play center as well, right?
So he's your fourth line.
So you really don't. So now you have 3 guys that are going to fill out the last 2 center spots.
Cave is a
Granlund.
healthy scratch if Sheahan's playing. I think that's...
I wonder if they would do something where they move Gaetan Haas to the right side to just kind of limit what he has to take care of and kind of get himself situated to the NHL game.
But at the same time, like, I don't know what Haas was overseas. Like, if he was a center all the time overseas, that could be where he's comfortable. Like, Joakim Nygard struggles along the wall in his own end. That's been, like, well noted early in his NHL career. So, like, putting Haas on the right side, it could, putting Haas on the right side could just throw him off more than anything, right?
Could be. Maybe they brought up Colby Cave because they saw the fight that he got into down in Bakersfield. Go check that out, hockeyfights.com.
You knocked that dude out.
Maybe they want to fight for this team right now because I'm looking at hockey fights right now and the Oilers have 0. They've got a goose egg up on the board right now.
We have not got a major penalty yet this year.
Let's just stick to fighting for majors, though. I don't need us to get any suspensions.
I don't need fights either.
Whoa. Oh, take that.
Definitely.
Take that, hockeyfights.
Take that, hockeyfights.com.
Fuck you. No, the Colby Cave knockout was good. That rivalry between Stockton and Bakersfield now is just one of the best. Yeah, they the next weekend they had another fight where Nolan Vesey got knocked the fuck out.
Allwrestling.com. Go check that one out.
Nolan Vesey got knocked out hard.
I was very impressed.
So
sticking in line with the line combinations, I want to talk about how wrong I was about the Jujhar Gagne line. I mean, it's not perfect. Nobody's going to say it's perfect. I thought when they put those 3 together that it was a punishment for Nuge. I'm always standing up for my boy. He needs an even strength goal. He just needs a goal in general. He's on pace for 52 points despite only having 1 goal. I'm going to defend him till the ends of the earth. And I thought putting him with Jujhar and Sam was mean. But over the past couple games, they've looked really good. Anybody else?
Well, Gagner's been great, like on that line.
Whoa, let's not say great.
He fits right in with Nuge. Like they've got some connection there for sure. I think that the move was to give Jujhar a little bit of a kick in the bottom and try and get.
Yeah, that was definitely a kick in the pants for Jujhar. I was very surprised to see him kind of get the bump up like that. I do think with when he's playing with forwards that are better than him, he kind of brings up his competitive level.
And he simplifies his game, I found. Like that goal he scored against Columbus, he was just charging his giant carcass towards the front of the net.
And that's how he's going to score the majority of his goals. If they're not that, he's coming out of the corner back first, turns around, and he gets a quick shot off from like the low just below the circles.
But the team, I think, also has, even just in the 2 games between Detroit and then Columbus, they changed their mentality.
They had a better game the second one.
There was a lot more urgency in their game.
There was more quality shots. There was more pursuit of the puck after a shot instead of just allowing the goalie to play it off to a defender.
They played properly. They played well against Columbus. They played like shit against Detroit.
Yep.
I would say that Columbus game was probably their most complete effort on the road since that win against the New York Islanders in week 1.
I'd agree.
Arguably.
Yep.
Yeah, probably. Remember last year, though, Jujhar went on a nice run with Nugent-Hopkins right after the Ranger game with Nugent-Hopkins and Puljujarvi, right?
Yep.
So Nugent and Jujhar have worked well together in the past. I'm sure Nick has some numbers on that, actually.
No, I was just going to bring up how in the offseason, Nuge was on 31 Thoughts, and he was interviewed by American Friedman, and he talked about line mates from last year, and he specifically mentioned that he thought he had good chemistry with Khaira and Puljujarvi, but he notably talked about Khaira, saying that he felt that he felt he got to good positions in and around the net, that Nuge felt they could play off each other's games really well. So there's obviously a bit of a familiarity there and a bit of a comfortable style of play between them. So it makes sense that they would kind of gel quickly. And then you put a veteran guy like Gagner on that line with them, who at this point in his career is better as a winger than he is as a center. And it kind of makes sense that they would have a little bit of gel going forward.
I'd like to see Neil on that line with Khaira and Nugent-Hopkins, though. But the thing I like, Nugent-Hopkins has never been a guy like Draisaitl and McDavid do damage off the rush. Like that is where they're absolutely the most dangerous. Nuge has never been that guy. Nuge has been a set up the cycle, find a soft spot, look for someone open, and go from there. And I think Jujhar's game really benefits him in that regard because, again, Jujhar's not doing much off the rush because he's slow. Gagner's not doing much off the rush because he's slow.
And JJ's not built to do anything off the rush. He is definitely a cycle guy. He works the boards. And I'm telling you, man, if you watch him, very, very few people get the puck off of him.
Rick, before we started recording, you said that you would preferred to see maybe Jujhar, Nugent, someone else. Who is your third that you would ideally like to see there?
Well, you know what? Tyler brings up a good point with Neil. But I would if you left Neil where he was, just give him someone with lots of speed. And whether I know you don't want to see Yamamoto, but Yamamoto-like player, whether it be Josh Curry, whether it be
Nygaard
when he gets healthy.
But
somebody with speed, somebody with speed who can shoot, somebody who can put the puck in the net.
Can Jujhar play both wings?
He's never played the right side.
He's never played the right side.
He's only been left guy.
But I've seen him in the right corners, and he's fine. The thing I'd be worried about is him zone exits.
Yeah, in his own end.
Hanging on the side.
Yeah. I was going to say, because Nygaard, Nugent, Khaira would actually really intrigue me.
But Nygaard doesn't play the right side at all?
I don't think he's been playing the right side, has he? I think he's been strictly left.
Yeah.
And he's already a tire fire in his own end on the wall, so I wouldn't want to switch him.
That's fair.
Great mustache, though.
Great mustache.
Bears repeating. Great mustache. Not as good as Nick's. Nick, I just like looking at you, buddy.
It's thick.
It's real nice. It's got some length. It's got some width.
But for day 1 of November, you've got a lot of work to do here. You have a lot of leeway to have some fun with that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think you took it down too small, too fast. You could have left some, leave like along the jaw line there, some
chin strap.
Have some fun with it. You got to do it honestly. If you're gonna start with running, and I think you should, have some fun with it. Trim it down, curve it this way, curve it that way. Make something happen with it.
That'd be really nice.
Talking about curves this way and that way, are we talking about Jujhar in another way again?
No. That's real life stuff. This is Oilersnation Radio.
This is the New York Times of Nation Network podcast, right?
Yes.
Eggplant emoji. Eggplant emoji. This brings me to, Tyler, you put it out on ON Radio Podcast on Twitter, the Sherwood Ford Giant. Question of the day. How many wins do the Edmonton Oilers get in November? And you set the over-under at
7.5.
Perfect. So let's walk through the schedule a little bit before I get everybody's answers. Coming up in November, the Oilers got 2 games against Arizona. They've got 2 games against San Jose. They've got 2 games against Colorado. Colorado's got some injury issues right now. Other divisional games, they play Vancouver, they play Vegas, they play LA, they play Anaheim. Some one-offs, we got Pittsburgh tomorrow, we got Jersey, we got St. Louis, and we got Dallas. If my math is correct, that is 14 games, perhaps.
Yes.
Now, Tyler, this is your question. At 7.5 as the over-under. The Sherwood Ford Giant question of the day. Are you taking the over or are you taking the under?
I've been bad with picking over-unders so far this year. Hello, shout out to the pregame podcast.
What is your record at there, by the way?
We're 14 games in. I am 2-4-8. 2-8-4. 2-8-4.
What was your bet for the Columbus game?
Leon Draisaitl over 3 shots on net. I go to that one so much. It's a great bet.
How many did he have?
3. So push.
You pushed.
But if you were to put $100, I did the math on this. If you were to put $100 every game on Leon Draisaitl getting more than 3 shots on net, but only the games where the line shifts back to 3. Sometimes it's at 3.5. You want to avoid that. But on the games where it shifts back to 3, you'd be up like $400 or $500.
Back to the Sherwood Ford Giant.
And that's Tyler from Oddshark.
Question of the day.
Bet of the
I'm taking the over to answer your question.
How many wins do you say? How many wins are you
8.
thinking?
I think they are going to go 8-5-1. At first, I was thinking 7-6-1, but Colorado's hurt. San Jose's banged up. I think those you can get wins
and their
there.
Goaltending is questionable
Atrocious,
at
and the
best.
Oilers can torch bad goaltenders. So I think they'll between Colorado and San Jose, those 4 games, I think they're good for 3 wins there. So I'm saying 8-5-1 is going to be the record.
Nick, coming over to you, over under at 7.5. What say you, sir?
I'm going 10. They're going to have a hot November.
Big month in
They're going to have a hot
November.
November. They're going to definitely lose to Arizona because that's just what we seem to do.
Maybe Tippett's got the secret sauce, man.
Maybe. That's a good point. We're playing Arizona and Dallas this month, 2 of his former teams. So maybe that'll be a nice little sweep there. But no, we're going to lose to Arizona for sure. Probably drop one of the games to Anaheim, and Vegas for sure. I think are going to be 3 losses.
We play Vegas pretty well, though, actually.
Yeah, but Vegas is really, really good. And you know what? That's a good point, though. We tend to play up to opponents and down to other opponents.
Yeah.
And that's just for whatever reason has been how this team has played. Must be something in the water. I don't know. No, nothing there, guys.
Blame the water
nothing
team.
there.
I was going to sing the song.
Okay.
From the... Never mind.
must be something.
And then probably drop one to Colorado because even though they do have some injuries with Rotten out, they're a very, very good team. So those are going to be the 4 losses, but it's going to be 10 wins for the team.
Dan, you're up next.
Yeah, I'm looking at my list, and I had them at 6 wins, but thinking about Colorado, I had them losing both games to Colorado, and I'm rethinking that now. I think they probably get a split there, so I have them at 7 wins. So I'm just going just under.
Just on the under. That's a good over-under, I said.
Which I'm happy with because, I'm still happy with 7 wins. This schedule is pretty strong. You got St. Louis. You've got Anaheim, who's always a burr in our saddle. Colorado's really good. And then I think the games at Vegas are the ones where I'm always scared of.
Because you love Vegas.
I do love Vegas.
I also
You
love Vegas.
Vegas as much as you love
But the Vegas flu is
the
a
Maritimes.
tough thing.
Do you know Dan lived in Halifax?
Did you know that?
I did know that.
Were
I
you aware
heard
of
about
that?
that once.
And
The
then
answer's
also I
9.
think the last game is the sneaky one too. I think Vancouver probably would.
No, the answer's 9.
The answer is 9 for Rick. I
answer's
like
9.
that.
That's all.
So that's 3
9.
overs, 1 under. Beg milk.
I'm going to go 8-3-3. Is my math right? Yeah.
Over.
I'm taking the over as well. I'm still in peak Kool-Aid form, Tyler. I'm loving the Oilers Kool-Aid right now. I don't care about the odd loss every now and then.
8-3-3. That second 3. How do you see that going?
Yeah, they don't lose in overtime very much. Even
we're going to OT loss or a shootout loss.
You're getting attacked.
Even me giving them 1 OT loss, I was like, ooh, I don't even know about that.
See, I've got my 3 OTLs. I actually have the Oilers losing to the Penguins tomorrow in overtime. So there's one.
Okay, that's understandable. We saw that last year anyways.
Right?
We had to trade someone after this now.
I've actually got the second one is going to be losing to New Jersey in overtime.
Oh, they almost did last time, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Tay-Tay's always motivated.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Taylor Hall a little bit later. And I've got the third one. I'm going to go Dallas. Just because fuck Dallas, you know? They always play the Oilers very, very hard. It's like Tyler Seguin comes into town and he rips them up. Jamie Benn does the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to play well, but they're going to lose in overtime. So 8-3-3.
So
I just had a really good hot take idea, so I got to write that down.
it's another month of a lot of games smattered in there. Like 14 games in
That's
in
good.
30 days.
If we can ride this heat for a little while, we get through November with a record like whether it be between 8 and 10 or even year 7.
Yeah.
Add to what we have right now, we've got a hell of a chance at April. But I still am very afraid of anybody not playing, in the top 6, top 3 line. Like, we're just not getting that secondary scoring
James
stuff.
Neal got a goal against
James
Columbus.
Neal does not
So
count.
we solved the
Does
bottom
not
6
count.
problem.
That was
JJ
pretty much a
counts.
power play goal.
Can we talk about Mike Smith's pass?
Oh,
on
that was
goal?
a power play goal. The Draisaitl one happened right after.
Do you like the pass, or do you like how he got picked up off Connor's skate and just kicked right on over like he played soccer his whole career?
That had to be a set
whole
play, right?
Sequence is unbelievable. And actually, you know what? Gene Principe did an Ask an Oiler with Mike Smith. I watched it yesterday, and it was really good because I just love Gene shtick. I love everything about that dude. But he was asking Mike Smith about bombing passes down to Connor, and he's like, it's definitely something we talk about. It hasn't really converted too many times yet, but you have to imagine it's going to.
But I like that. It seemed like it was a set play because both the D-men had their backs to Connor for a second. So as soon as Smith bombed it, Connor's kind of jumped out in front of them. It was really interesting.
I think it's a set play as long as X does something, because it was Seth Jones, I think, who had a really slow change there, and that's what they jumped on.
Yeah, they
and
identified for sure.
Smith, he fired it right up there, and it was right off the skate to the stick between the legs.
This is the thing we have to remember when Mike Smith has his game against LA where he gives the puck away twice and the puck goes in the net. You have to kind of give the good with the bad, and sometimes the bad can stack up. Like he said, it hasn't worked out yet up until last night's or 2 nights ago's game. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing when it works out. Get those Dwayne Rollison-esque passes.
To me, that was Mike Smith's puck handling at its best. Do you know what I mean? He's just bombing it down right on the tape, on the skate in this instance. Connor made a nice play to Leon to James Neal and in the net.
I just love Tyler grinding tape, just looking at the position of the D-man on that play, just watching how everything's taking form there, Tyler. I love it. I love your commitment.
Well, the lazy
nice.
line change is just
Yeah.
so easy to pick
Like
out.
there were a lot of things that had to go right on that play.
Yeah, but I wonder if they think about this stuff with, this is probably a stupid thing to say, but with the Rollison Pekka thing from all those years ago, where there's always just this idea in Edmonton where it's like, remember when that play happened? Wouldn't it be cool to do that again?
I think in fans, I think amongst the organization, I'm sure it's something where you kind of have that idea, but you also all know all right, if I'm going to bomb a pass up to Connor, this needs to happen, this needs to happen, this needs to happen.
Yeah.
And then it's just kind of in the moment, oh shit, here we go, and bang, bang.
70% of them are going to be just icing, and that's fine. But
Well, not really. He'd prefer if he didn't ice
but it's not a giveaway within the
Yeah.
zone. It's not a chase on lazy pass up the sideboards that goes right to
Chiasson had some moves, though.
Oh, yeah. No. And that wasn't a shot necessarily at Chiasson because the Squire is
Yeah, Jay
all
hates
over.
Chiasson.
All over
Been a
Chiasson.
lot of shots taken at Chiasson.
Chiasson was on the top power play a little bit in that game against Columbus too, right?
Yeah,
that was
they
a little
did.
odd to see.
They split up Neal and his minutes on that top power play.
Yeah, I guess, you probably just don't want James Neal playing 2 minutes every single power play, but I saw it as also maybe Tippett just wanted to get Chiasson going.
Also, was that the first time in a long time that we've started a power play off with the second unit as the starting? We usually, even if it's mid shift for the top line, we usually go right to the top line power play.
I love when the Oilers get power plays. When I'm watching a game, I actively smile when I see Nuge, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Clefbaum hop over the boards. It's amazing. And then that one, I see the second line come over. I'm like, oh fuck. 30 seconds, hopefully no more than 35 seconds here. Let's go.
It did work out perfectly.
What about the what could it be type of a situation when the first power play line comes out? Because in 2 years, whether it be someone's going to be there on the right side. Bouchard's definitely going to be there, and whether it be Yamo or we have some other right-handed shot who's going to appear on there. Now you have actually one-timers coming from everywhere.
I think it's perfect the way it is now.
With the
Even
5
just
lefts.
Think about when Mark Letestu was there a few years ago. He set a career high in goals just by feasting on that half wall.
James Neal right now doing it in real time. All he's doing is ripping home power play goals and being in the right spot.
But to Rick's point too, it's in a couple of years you've got Ethan Bear in the mix there.
I still would sprinkle Bear in here.
I would too.
I agree, but I think that there's an opportunity now to go back,
Especially after we win a couple games without getting one.
We have so much good defense coming up now, though, that there's that option of having the 2D man again.
No, you never want to do
point,
2D.
and then you can have two power plays.
You do
Amazing.
Because then who's your net
maybe
front?
on the second one?
You're not putting Nuge in front of the net. You're not putting Draisaitl in front of the net. You're not putting Connor there.
Maybe
and then
on
you're
the
taking
second
Nuge
power
off.
play you do too. But definitely in the first one, you do the one guy who can walk the line a bit.
My only complaint with the power play, so they have that play where Nuge cuts in, blind backhand pass to Clefbaum for the one-timer, right? I think everyone who's watching Oilers game over the last year knows what I'm talking about. Clefbaum feels the need to hammer. I don't know if he's told to or what, but he hammers it every time. There was a time in Columbus, and I think even in Detroit, where the pass back to him isn't good, and it's in his feet, and he just fires it anyways. And I wonder, like I was watching that, and it drives me a little crazy now. But
I wonder if that's part of it, that Tippett just wants more shots on goal in general.
And when that happens, he tells them, when that happens, you fire it no matter what.
Well, because the rest of the team is ready for it, right? They're prepared for
I guess.
next
Or you have a
play
couple bad ones in a row there where nothing goes in. Okay, guys, let's get back to shoot. Next thing you know, they come to block, and then we get to turn off and spin off and start making passes again.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah, and it gets defenders off Draisaitl, it gets defenders off Connor a little bit more.
But
Changing gears a little bit, I want to talk about Leon Draisaitl. He just was named the NHL's third star of the month. John Carlson was number 1, David Pastrnak number 2. I was a little bit surprised to see Draisaitl at 3, considering right now he is tied for the NHL lead in goals. Leads the NHL with 11 even strength goals, leads the NHL with 18 even strength points, and is the first player in 29 years to produce 25 points in October.
If he played in the East, he would have been 2.
No.
Well, it comes down to a games played thing between him and Pastrnak.
Yeah, I think that's all
two
it is.
fewer games. So I think that's the only reason that it's even, because that's the stat line that they use on their thing.
2 games is what does it?
And Pastrnak has one less
points per
point.
game, man.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not saying that Leon's not a great star of the league.
Yeah, I think
you can't dismount Carlson because that's
fine.
Month,
he was
I leave Carlson exactly where he was.
Unbelievable.
But I think if
there's an argument.
If Leon had the same amount of eyes on him as Pastrnak, then Leon would have been number 2.
I think Boston and Edmonton have this.
Love Leon if he was in the East.
I don't
if they ever got to
disagree.
see him all the time.
I
a big
disagree.
body like that, who can pass better than perhaps anybody else in the league, who has the best backhand pass in the league, who just put up 50 last year and is gonna be real close to it again this year.
Best backhand pass in the league.
I just think
I would say so.
better.
Who's better?
How often does he use it? He doesn't use it on a regular basis. Like, I don't know. It's
Man,
not
all
like
the time. All the time, Draisaitl.
Dude,
with
I
a
can
backhand pass.
pull out at least 3. That one from right beside the net there to Connor was ridiculous this year.
I don't
Last
think
year
it's
he
like a
went
hallmark
side to
of his
side.
tool set, though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Really?
It's a quiet one. One. But he does
passing is
when
great.
most guys have to turn around and pass on their forehand, he can leave it on his backhand and still get the puck there.
I just
It's
feel that
ridiculous.
there's a part of me that just thinks that became a narrative when he was coming into the NHL was how good he passed on his backhand, and it's just stuck. Even though
I challenge you, my friend, to watch for it now.
Okay, I'll watch for it. That's my
how good
homework
he is
for the
on
next
that.
week. I will watch him specifically on the back end.
He is fantastic. I want to touch really quickly on. You want to talk Draisaitl?
No,
Go for it, Nick.
I was just gonna. I'd go further, and I'd say for Tyler to compile like a top 5 best backhand passers in the NHL.
But here's the thing: I don't think there's a lot of guys. Like, to me, that's not like a hallmark skill of like,
But you
this
haven't
guy's
been looking for it now. Maybe if you go to look for it, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, maybe if I start looking for it, maybe I just don't watch for it. I don't know. To
Like,
me, I just always felt like that was like a
I
weird.
think it might have to be a year-long thing for you.
Kucherov had
to watch for some
120
backhands.
points last year. He probably's up there, I would assume.
Like tomorrow, we'll see another good one. Sid's great on his backhand.
But I do agree with
Sid's
Rick
great on his
that
backhand,
if it's a Western Eastern bias thing with Draisaitl. It is like it's
Not
just it's a
I don't
reality.
think
three
so.
stars thing. It's an intern that
No,
is
it's-
just like
it's a reality.
Listen, they played enough games.
No. This is
I guarantee
this
you,
is a
it's
thing
not
that
anybody that matters.
No.
Bettman's not like, well, Leon's the third star because I don't watch him enough.
who.
Bettman.
Yeah, because Bettman is deciding who's
Well,
winning.
that's my point. It's some
awards at the end of
intern,
the year.
some
It's a
intern
writers
at
thing.
NHL.
No, it's writers
that came in and he's just
It's
like
an intern. That's the best intern job I've ever heard of in my fucking
I'm
life.
sure it's
Then
just some social media intern. that
hopefully,
writes social
hopefully he's
media.
not a Canadiens fan because they're all dying, right? So
There's no way a Canadiens fan knows how to use Twitter.
Yes,
They're all
Pasternak's
dead.
on the East Coast, but Draisaitl plays in Edmonton
it's a
in
reality,
a Canadian
though.
market.
No, it's a reality. Like
If he was in San Jose, sure, but I think Edmonton gets
Hold
enough
on.
eyes on it.
Let's bring up the Canadians argument here. Where's your facts?
Do we have to?
Do you have any facts to prove
That
this,
they can use
Eastern
Twitter?
bias that Pasternak and
No,
Draisaitl
I think the
are
Eastern
different?
bias thing is just a well-known fact in all sports, like baseball, basketball. Maybe not the NFL as much because
But I'm talking about this specifically.
yeah,
Because
but-
Leon and Connor are now like a focal point. in
Can I
this league.
interject?
yeah, of course you can.
Can I say that I apologize to everybody for even bringing up this third star of the thing? Because nobody gives a fuck except just us in this room right now. Agreed? All in favor?
People love arguing.
You know what's no argument, Dan?
Skip.
According to our downloads that we're going to talk about in a minute, turns out you guys like this podcast. You know what else we like? Skipthedishes.ca, because it's delicious. It's delicious, and you can be nutritious if you want, or you could be a gluttonous pig like I am generally. However, doesn't matter. The choice is yours. There are hundreds of restaurants. In fact, I recommend that you go on skipthedishes.ca and you pick up something from our friends at Mary Brown's Chicken and Taters. Woo! Maybe some bite-sized morsels of 100% breast meat chicken coated Mary seasoning and served hot, crispy, and oh so yummy.
Yes, please.
Choose Thai for a kick of sweet heat topped with sesame seeds and improve your life. Ow! You love it, Tyler.
That was hot. That's hot.
Skipthedishes.ca. Make it all happen right now. No matter when you are listening to this podcast, go and order some food. You will thank me for it. Yesterday on Oilersnation.com, Tyler, you wrote an article called 31 Takes in 31 Days about the month of October, sorry. And I want to ask you, of those 31, what was your biggest takeaway? And then I'm going to ask everybody else at the table what their biggest takeaway is from the month of October.
I think you can make a really good argument that the biggest takeaway was Ethan Bear, right? Just because that's such a revelation and that's an area where the Oilers have been lacking for so long. But I would honestly say...
You can't choose two.
Well, no, Bear I think is up there, and I think Bear's going to be a really common answer around this table.
Giving away our answer, though.
This guy,
but
stealing our
keeping us on our
now.
toes.
But my answer is going to be goaltending, just because it was so worrisome over the summer, and I was honestly petrified it was just going to sink us.
We talked about it on this podcast many times.
Yeah, and I liked Koskinen, but I didn't love Koskinen. I was okay with Mike Smith, but I thought maybe there were better options out there than him, and they were just forced to do it because of the money side of things. And here we go, a month into the season, I'm dead wrong. Both of them have been outstanding. And I think Oilers fans should be thrilled with their goaltending. And honestly, based on Tippett's structure and what I've seen from especially Koskinen, I've really, really liked Koskinen. I'm big on him right now. I think there's reason to believe this can continue for a while.
Dan, what's your biggest takeaway from October?
Well, yes, goaltending was going to be my biggest takeaway. But I think the biggest takeaway has to be that this team has overcome its bottom six woes that have continued from last year so far. And I know everybody will say it's unsustainable and all that, but Connor and Leon, James Neal, Nuge, they're all just clicking at a top level. And I put out the tweet yesterday, and it genuinely, like, it was a joke, but it's also like a real question of, I wonder if back in the 80s, if people were wondering about the bottom six scoring when Gretzky and Messier are lighting up the lamp.
People probably watch hockey differently, though.
Yeah, I agree. And you're looking at newspaper clippings and you're seeing the top 25 scoring and you're not really caring about the lower end stuff. But I just think that we're at a point now where we have two of the best players in the league right now. We have one of the hottest guys in the league right now in James Neal. And we're still kind of like worried about, things that aren't necessarily an issue right now.
Just because your car's moving doesn't mean you shouldn't be worried about it continuing to move.
I know, but my point is that when Gretzky and Messier were doing what they're doing, and Leon and Neal and Connor are matching those or coming close to those numbers.
Matching them.
They were coming close to them. They beat Glenn Anderson.
October.
Yeah, but we're.
I like Salty Rick today.
We're tending to focus on the negatives a little bit, and I think that it's a good thing.
It's not focusing on the negatives though. It's just keeping an eye on. It's just improving your efficiency.
All right, Rick, what's your answer? I can't wait to pick it apart. Go ahead.
Biggest takeaway from October, Rick, coming at you.
Leon doing exactly what he did last year, and is not a bit of a. It's not looking like he's going to dip off like everybody thought he was going to.
He hasn't missed a step.
Shooting 24%.
And that's what he did last year. I know he probably can't keep that up, but as long as he gets right around that 40 or 50 goals and 100 points, that's exactly where you want him.
I was going to say something, but I don't want to take the conversation off the rails. So
we're going to take it off the rails in a minute. Nick, what is your biggest takeaway from October?
I think it has to be James Neal. It's kind of forgotten now, but the fact that
the real steal.
Well, the fact that he's contributed so quickly, and he's already at it's 11 goals, right?
Yeah,
yes, sir.
That has to be pretty impressive. Like, people thought that it was going to be, when the trade happened, people were stoked just mostly because we were offloading Lucic and we were getting a player that could at least contribute a little bit. But the fact that he's, granted, 70% or whatever it is on the power play, that's fine.
Who cares?
There's still goals. There's still goals.
They're goals.
And the fact that he's done it this quickly, I think is pretty impressive. Another minor one, he was hurt a little bit, but he's back now. Just the fact that Persson can kind of just slide into that top four and doesn't look out of place is pretty impressive.
Just
unbelievable.
Stick to the format here, guys.
Rick's,
Come on,
Rick's
one
pissed.
at a time.
Rick's pissed because I did too, but that's just a little minor
Bag
one.
milk?
It's a little minor
Yeah.
one. Is
What
that
do you
fair to
got
say,
from the
Tyler?
bottom of the barrel?
Or am I thinking too highly of Mr. Joel Persson?
I like Persson. I think he plays just a simple game.
6-1 with him in the lineup.
My
6-0 in games where he finishes the game.
The one thing I'll say too is about having you, like Dan, you talked about, comparing to the Gretzky days when we were very top heavy. For a more modern comparison, we can look at the Avalanche from 2 years ago, right? McKinnon finished with 97 points. Rantanen finished with 84. The next closest score was Landeskog at 62, right? And they made the playoffs. They snuck it at 8th, but they still made the playoffs. So it is, even if it's not sustainable to be a dominant team like a Boston Bruins or like a Washington Capitals or Vegas Golden Knights, it's still good enough to be somewhat successful and to get to the playoffs. And that's all that really matters, because right now, when Holland came in, sorry, I'll let you sneak in here in a sec, but when Holland got hired, he said that this is going to be like a 2-3 year thing, right? So right now, even it's hard to say because we have, arguably the best player in the league on our team. We're kind of playing with house money at this point, right? Whatever.
We have the best player on our team.
So, but we're playing with house money a bit, where this is the best case scenario that we're playing well enough. We've gotten off to a hot start, and only more good days are going to come.
Well, and the difference for that
years.
too, Nick, like to your point of 2 years ago, Colorado versus even last year, Edmonton Oilers, they had two of the top scorers in the league last year, and nothing happened for them. It was just average goaltending.
But where were
goaltending
their
takes over
bottom
hump.
scorers compared to our bottom scorers is what I want to see. Yeah,
He's showing him the spreadsheet.
There's a
He needs to explain the right
20.
spreadsheet.
Yeah, even those guys, I see guys who have numbers in the goal columns here, in the bottom end of their lineup. And unfortunately, we don't have that right now. So to be that, if we had 1 or 2 goals at a couple of the guys, then I don't think we have nothing to worry about, or a lot less. But we have 0.
We're through.
JJ just got 1. We have 0.
Yeah, we're through October.
That's frightening.
Guys need to score.
That's
no
frightening.
doubt.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm absolutely stoked we are where we are. And every time we play, I'm fucking jacked up before every game.
My biggest takeaway from October, I'm cutting everybody off because I want to play.
Terrified.
And everybody took my answers. I was going to say Ethan Bear. I was going to say goaltending. I was going to say James Neal and how great it is that we just absolutely robbed Calgary of an 11-goal guy already. I'm going to go ahead and give a shout-out to Oscar Klefbom and how great he's been. Right now, he's averaging 25-26. He's on pace for a 50-point season. He has been fantastic. And not only has he been fantastic, he is playing with inexperienced guys. He's played with a mix of partners so far, and he's looked great. He's looked every bit as good as he ever has. And I'm going to give a hat tip to Oscar Klefbom and his abs. Very impressive. Very, very impressive.
And your second one?
Oh, you see, I play by the rules, Dan.
Nice.
I only have one takeaway. One takeaway.
That's what keeps this show at the top.
All right, fuck it. I got a third takeaway. The play of Zach Kassian starting and continuing to look like a legitimate top 6 winger as long as he's with McDavid and Draisaitl, but who cares? He's doing it. I don't care who he's playing with. That's
only like 2 months away from doing it in a whole season, right? Last half of last year, first half of this year.
I've really liked what we've seen from Kassian. Is there
a fourth one? Jeez. Can we move on?
I wrote an article with 31 of these.
10 over there.
Yeah.
I wrote an article with 31 of these, right? You're aware of that?
I'm going to stick with Kassian, though.
Yeah, so do I.
Because right now he's got 3 goals, 6 points, or 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points in 14 games. He is due for a new contract at the end of this year. What is an acceptable contract for Zach Kassian? And are you keeping it or are you clipping it to steal from 2 guys and a goalie?
Whoa.
Shout out 2 guys and a goalie.
2 guys and a goalie.
Brandberg.
Check that out on Mondays and Thursdays. Zach Kassian, what's an acceptable contract?
Ty said at the beginning of the season that Kassian plays best in like contract years.
He does.
So is there a way of talking him into one year contract, one year contract because of the long-term money? But I mean, you're only, what is it, an extra $2.5 million? Like,
This is going to be a really complicated negotiation, I think, for a couple of reasons. Zach Kassian will have a lot of numbers to look at, And with those numbers, he'll have comparables that probably make in the $3.5 to $4.5 million range. Like if he scores 20 some goals, brings that physical presence, and is at 55 points, like.
But this is a different NHL now.
It is.
Patrick Maroon put up otherworldly numbers, and then he signed for $1 million the year later.
Because he waited so long.
Because he waited. He could have had a lot more from the Oilers.
I'm fairly certain 4x4 here.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain 4x4 was offered at one point, and he said no.
So right now, Zach Kassian is on pace for 18, if I'm rounding up from 17.57.
That's fair.
Okay, so he's
on 18 million.
So, like, he can look at some numbers, but the Oilers can just sit there and say, you're playing with Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. No other team has that. And I think other teams might also recognize that and go, ooh, he's playing with McDavid and Draisaitl.
Will we see an Anson Carter situation where he lit it up playing with the Sedins, went to Columbus, got his big money, and didn't do jack shit?
How old is he?
Maybe.
Zach Kassian is 28 and 281 days.
So do you think
29?
Are we almost at that point where those guys, 28, 29-year-olds who only done it for like 2 years, don't get those Anson Carter contracts?
I think
Hope so.
I think so.
Like, do you get here and like, hey man, it's gonna be another 2, and that guy goes, you know what?
But then again,
fuck yeah, because there's a point. I didn't think I was gonna get another 2-year contract.
But then again, we're talking about Kenny Holland, and he did give a contract to Chiasson on a.
He did. Let me throw this at you then. Cassian's making 1.9 right now. I don't know if this is fair or not for either side. If it was announced tomorrow that the Oilers had an extension with Zach Kassian for 2 years at $2.9 million, what would your take be?
Too high.
A little too high for me, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I would say a shade too high.
Yeah, I think 2.5 might be as high as I'm going for him. So that's an extra 4. You do have some youth coming up, so maybe you can find that extra $400,000 somewhere. Hopefully, some of this dead cap space starts falling off right away, so you have a little bit to play with there.
I would love to see him get what Alex Chiasson got.
2 years, 2.1,
somewhere in there. And I know that's not like a
2.9. You're right. It's probably too high now that like I'm really starting to think about it.
That's not like a huge bump from where he's at right now, but if you can get 2.15 like Chiasson did, then I think you're in a decent spot, right?
And don't you think he'd work with the team? Seeing how we were the team that kind of gave him that extra. I think he's at the point of his life where he's going to give a lot more credit to those who gave him his last opportunity. I guess
for sure. I think that there has to be. You'd hope that there's a sense of
for sure. You just sense it. You sense it in him. The way every interview, everything you read, everything you see about him, you just kind of sense it in him that if it came down to $500,000. He would go on the lower side of it as, you know what? Thank you, because otherwise, Montreal, he wasn't going anywhere there.
Can we all be in agreement that we don't want it to be more than 2 years?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? So. Like, just the way he's played, like last year, before he went up with McDavid and Draisaitl, he was looking somewhere for a trade, for a team to just take him, and no one would.
Yeah.
So.
And the way he plays also, like, it's hard on his body.
Yep. It is.
He's kept it cool this year, too. Like, he hasn't gone... We haven't seen Crazy Eyes yet.
No.
I do miss Crazy Eyes as long as it doesn't like turn to crazy.
There was one moment against Washington where he jumped in there. It was funny.
I think he jumped way over top of a couple of guys. But he gives those crazy eyes. You got the gap tooth smile going on, and you're just like, you're watching from your television. You're afraid.
But Holland's also a guy that doesn't give a lot of long-term contracts to guys that aren't the superstars.
In Detroit, he overpaid a lot of veterans, but I think a lot of people will tell you he was forced into that because he may have had an owner that really, really wanted him to hang on to the playoff streak.
Contracts.
You're trying. But yeah, I would agree. I don't think Holland's going to sit here and be like 3x3, let's go.
The thing with Holland too is he's not, as we've seen with Jesse Puljujarvi, we're going to touch on here in a second, is has no problem letting guys sit. He did it with Athanasio in Detroit. He was going to go over to the KHL, ended up coming back to Detroit, had a great year. He's let Jesse go to Finland. So maybe it's something where if it's not a deal he likes with Zach, that away you go.
That's exactly what I'm just a little bit worried about because I don't want to see him go. He's a fan favorite.
He is a fan favorite, but takes 2 to tango. Both sides need to want to dance. I think both sides probably would want to dance. It's just a matter of making the math work. Right?
Yep.
Right. So Jesse Puljujarvi obviously is ripping it up in the Finnish league right now. He is the Karpat's leading goal scorer. News came out this week from Jason Gregor that Ken Holland is going over to Finland to do a little bit of scouting, but he's also going to check in on Jesse while he's there. My question for you is, do you think this is a repair mission from the Oilers to try and get Jesse back? Just Holland checking in to see how Jesse's doing and try to build a bridge there? What do you guys think? Rick, I'll start with you.
It's a recon mission. Like, he's going over there for obvious reasons to keep an eye on this tournament. It's got 4 national teams in it. So, there's definitely people to watch there. But yeah, when he gets over there, he's going to feel the water and see what it's all about. You sit down and talk to him. I said since, in June, if Coach and Holland just flew over there for 3 to 4 days, sat down, got to know him, hung out with him, seen what he does in the real life, and just show him that little love that some of this new age category guys respect a little bit more and kind of need a little bit more, that we wouldn't be where we are. So he's going to go over there, and I don't see him flying home with him. But, and I think I said last week, I could see him being in training camp next year.
I'd love to see the Oilers rebuild a relationship with Jesse. And who knows, I'm just saying that as, who knows what the fuck's going to happen with him in his NHL career. But I would love to see them not waste a prospect as spectacularly as they did with him.
Yeah, we lost a number 1 already, but that kind of everybody, it just kind of happened. You couldn't take anybody else at that point. You had to take Yak. It was him or Murray, and you weren't going to take Murray at 1. But yeah, there are definitely a couple guys around Puljujärvi that you had an opportunity of taking instead. To see this through and find out really if he is or if he isn't, or if it was just a bad situation at the beginning. I really want to see what he's got when he's healthy. And at this point right now, I want to see him over here and see what he can do.
Dan, last word on Puljujärvi.
You know what fixes all relationships?
Love.
Gift baskets.
Of course.
Send a gift basket.
An edible arrangement.
What would you put in your gift basket?
Something from Skip
Arby's?
Dishes.
Oh, some beef and cheddar.
Arby's and send it to Finland.
Can we
still ship it? It gets there in a week, and there's beef and cheddars in there.
No, I'll step up. I'll make sure it gets there in 2 days or whatever, the 48-hour flight or whatever. Amazon, do those drones fly over there still today?
Absolutely.
Jesse, we miss you. Here's a 2-day-old beef and cheddar and an 8-pack of Molson Canadian.
Have you ever eaten a
I would have
2-day-old
thrown
beef
in
and
a
cheddar?
couple
You
beef
don't know
and
if they
cheddars
hold
and a
on.
handful of
Absolutely.
sauces too, though.
Hey, we're not being
Dishes takes care of everything.
Yeah, we're not being cheap here. Skip the dishes. They'll take care of whatever we need.
Yep.
Very exciting day on the podcast today. We are welcoming a brand new sponsor, Tourism Jasper, with their hot and cold performer of the week. Tyler's excited. We've been working on the button bar today to make sure that we had the appropriate sound effects for everybody's choices. So we're going to go around the table. Who is the best and worst Oilers from the past week?
You only get one answer, right?
You only get one answer.
Hold on. One answer for sure, or Tyler's 4 answers?
I got one answer.
Tourism Jasper, hot and cold performer of the week. We are going to start with the bad news. We are going to start with the cold performer of the week. Tyler, I'm going to start with you. And we're not going to double up here, boys. We're going to do a little bit of nobody's in agreement here. We're all going to pick our own players, and we're going to start with Tyler. Cold performer of the week. Tyler.
My ice cold performer of the week is Marcus Granlund.
Easy.
Knew where I was going with it. He was not good. They healthy scratch him. You hope it's going to give him a burst, maybe motivate him a bit. Fresh perspective after sitting in the press box. He comes back and looks about as vanilla, if not somehow more vanilla, than he did before. So Marcus Granlund is my cold performer.
Rick, who is your cold performer of the week?
Well, he started off looking kind of hot, but now he's gone right to the cold side. Yurko, whatever your last name is, he needs to be better. Let's do something in the bottom 6. Come on.
Oh, that's cold.
Dan, your Tourism Jasper, cold performer of the week.
So as the resident writer of the prospects, I figured I'd give you guys a little taste of Bakersfield.
I like this.
And I am going to go with one Kyler Yamamoto. With 1 assist in his last 5 games, that hot start that Rick wanted to call up so
5
bad.
games last week? They played 5 games last week?
5 games.
How many
in
games
their
did they play last
5
week?
games.
How many play? No, this is of the week. How many games did they play in the last
3.
week? They
And he
played
has
3
1
in the last
assist
week.
in those 3 games.
And all of a sudden you want to get rid of him.
I'm not saying get rid of him.
Connor went 3 games without getting any points.
Hold
and
on,
you're
is this
gonna
the
shit on him too
Tourism
now?
Jasper get rid of him content or the cold
Good
content?
Lord.
Cold performer of the week,
Good
Kyler
Lord.
Yamamoto, 1 assist.
Just turn his mic off.
Nick, your Tourism Jasper, cold performer of the week.
Do you want to go before me? Because my cold performer is also my hot performer, so I can get the next round started.
What?
Yes.
All right, I don't understand how this works,
You're about to find out.
okay. I'm going to go ahead and say my cold performer of the week is Chris Russell, though that's not his fault. He was playing on his off wing with Clefbaum, now in a much better spot. I like him where he's at now that Joel Persson is here, so I'm going to go my cold performer is Chris Russell. There we go on the downside. But today we are going to look at the good news.
Hold on, you got one more.
Well, I'm going to start with Nick here because he says he's got a little of both flavors. So we got Nick going with the hot and cold performer of the week at the same time. Somehow, I don't know how this works. Tourism Jasper wants to hear from you. Nicholas, good.
It's Mike Smith. So against the Florida Panthers, Smith was quite cold, and as were his nuts. Let in 3 goals on 3 shots, had a very rough start to the second period. And then his last game against against Detroit, had a very, very good, it was against Columbus. Had a very good game against Columbus. He came back, he had like a 930-something save percentage. He redeemed himself. And so Mike Smith saw both sides of the coin this week. But I hope that everything downstairs and all around in his game have come around for the rest of the season.
That's hot.
No penis talk this week, but there are nuts.
Tyler really missed his call by not being an FM DJ with all these buttons.
See, I was so glad that I had, like, when I found out that they were when I found out that the Tourism Jasper thing kicked in this week, I was super excited because I had this idea that we were going to set up the button bar a little bit, and Tyler's nailing it right now. Dan, your hot performer of the week.
It's actually going to be somebody else from Bakersfield, a little shot from down south.
Brad Malone.
No, he is hot, but it's Caleb Jones. Caleb Jones has had a great week. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists in his last 6 games, but he's got 2 goals and an assist in his last week.
And he dangled that one kid along the boards there too. I think that was this weekend, right?
He's definitely excelling. I know that we've kind of felt that Bear is pushing him maybe a little bit, and seeing Ethan go up ahead of him after our last season's great streak by Caleb. But yeah,
positional opportunities.
Hot performer of the week.
Positional opportunities. That's why.
Rick, your hot performer of the week.
Leon.
That's really hot.
Thank you. You got, the guy, he just continues to be one of the best players in the league. Everyone expected him to drop off this year, and nope. Last year against Columbus, he had 6 points in the last 2 games against them. 1 game against them this year, puts up another 3 points. That guy right there is going to be the Malkin to our Crosby in Connor. That's who you're going with right now.
Leon Draisaitl.
Press the button.
That's really hot.
I did. As soon as he said Leon, I hit it.
Press it again.
Well,
Tyler Yaremchuk, your Tourism Jasper, hot performer of the week.
You know, this might be maybe a bit of an unpopular one, but Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is playing good, man.
Yes.
He's playing good.
well.
And the thing, he's getting chances and all that. He's not playing with established top 6 wingers. Neil, sure, but again, he's a guy who's kind of still a bit of a reclamation project at 5-on-5. He's not a legitimate bona fide play driving top 6 winger. Nugent-Hopkins is doing a lot of good things with not a lot of good around him. So I liked what I saw from Nugent-Hopkins in the last 7 days, and I'm hoping he can keep it up.
That was hot. That's hot.
And I'm going to go with the man that everybody should go with when this question comes around, Connor McDavid.
How nice of us to leave him for you.
6 points in his last 5 games. Connor McDavid is my Tourism Jasper hot performer of the week. Fantastic.
That's the real life intro.
Welcome to the Real Life Podcast.
Oh my God, is that Wanye's music?
We got a few minutes left.
Burst in the door.
We got a few minutes left in this week's podcast. Well, I want to touch on something. We mentioned him a little bit earlier. Taylor Hall's not having a great time with New Jersey fans right now.
I think Oiler fans really like talking about Taylor Hall.
I do.
Big fans of it.
I don't care what the Squire and Wanye say. Fuck those guys. Don't fire me.
Our podcast is better.
Taylor Hall got quoted after the Jersey Devils were booed by their own fans. And I'm going to read this quote for you, so just bear with me a sec.
Like I call them the Jersey Devils.
Did I?
Jersey Shore. Jersey Shore, Jersey Devils.
Man, I'm battling English today.
Jim Tam Halsey.
We're kind of battling our own fans at this point. We're 1-3 on the power play and we're getting booed. It's a tie game and we're getting booed. It's a tough environment to play in sometimes, especially when you're at home. I know when we're playing somewhere and their fans start booing, it's a fun environment for the away team to play in. I understand the fans' frustration after the game. If they're booing because we're losing, that's fine. But when we're 1-for-3 on the power play and they're booing, it's tough. If you're playing at home, you want to feed off the energy of the crowd and not let that affect you, but sometimes it does. Yep. Tyler, you had a hot take about Taylor Hall.
But I think I got to save it for the hot takes contest on TSN.
Unbelievable.
What?
Tyler,
They have 2 fucking wins, and he's talking like this.
I'm just surprised he's so rattled by like the 30 fans that are in that arena watching the New Jersey Devils play.
They ventured into the swamp. They know what they were getting into.
No. Oh, yeah, it is in the swamp now. It used to be the Rock. Or is it the Rock now?
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
Can I change
Mickey
my
Mouse.
Tourism Jasper Cold Performer of the Week to Tyler for saving his hot takes for TSN?
Okay, the Tournament of Champions is a big deal in my life, and I would use
Hold
it.
on. You don't have confidence in yourself that you can come up with another hot take by the time this comes up?
I just think this is a good one in terms of the contest.
We're going to send them this audio, by the way.
Just say it, and then we'll just edit it out.
Yeah, just say it and we'll pretend like.
Oh, I'll bleep it.
We want to shout out then.
Yeah. Okay. Taylor is more call.
Ooh.
Rick Pinter would like that one.
Right?
Same.
I got to write down what time.
I'm glad you saved that one.
Just based on his comments.
I just
there,
tweeted it at Dusty. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just
Now you're gonna be
based
stealing
on
Just
his
don't tweet it at
comments
Titch.
I kind of see where he's coming from. If you're booing the team that's 1 for 3 and you're booing the team when it's tied,
Because that was a game against Tampa, right? Where there was like it was a back and forth.
Yeah, like I haven't
They
even
lost
looked in.
7-6 in overtime.
Yeah, I haven't even looked into it too far, but 1 for 3 on the power play, and you're gonna boo them when they're on the ice. I would hate that. I would lose my fucking mind if Connor had the puck. We are 1 for 3 on the power play, and the shoots start turning to the boos.
Yeah, but it's different than just. It's not like they were just booing the power play. They were booing the power play and the fact their team is shit.
Yeah,
well, exactly.
After a really exciting offseason.
But
It's
in
a
that
situational
game,
thing.
in that game, they're still right in it.
It's a situational thing though. Like the Oilers play like dog shit, and we're still losing 2-0, or we're only down by like a goal, and there's a piss poor effort, and the fans boo. The players can't be fucking upset about that.
No, but even in Edmonton, when they announced the opening lineup, when they brought them all on the ice and introduced them one by one, everybody fucking sat on their fucking hands. They sat down the whole goddamn time. I was losing my fucking mind down low.
That's a statement against Rogers' place, though.
No, that's not a statement against. That's a statement against the people that are in there. No one in Rogers told them to sit down.
But it's the environment that's been created and
it's
festered.
created by the people that are in there.
But there's a certain amount of stop cheering shit.
There's no that went
I don't
away
buy that.
fast. That went away. I don't know where that came from, but that went away fast.
We are the library.
We are not. The library was fucking the Coliseum.
Yeah, like the Coliseum had plenty of regular season games where it was dead quiet in there, man.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what?
It gets going when it needs to get going, or when the Oilers deserve it getting going.
We're kind of a quiet person though. Albertans are usually kind of quiet. That's
But
what
in
it
the-
is.
but
That's what it is.
what I
You
mean-
look at Montreal. You look at Montreal. That place is always popping off. Here, not necessarily. And it's annoying.
Well, are they
you
popping
you
off?
look
Montreal
at-
fans
you
are
look
all
at-
dying, so
dude, you
they're
look at-
cheering before they die. So I
look
get
at
it.
some of
Yes.
the look at some of the
They're excited to
fans
still be alive.
of like English Premier League teams.
Well, they're-
these teams are like in the bottom fucking 3 or 4, and you know they're always going back and forth throughout the leagues, and those fans are always diehard
It's a
fucking
cultural
singing for 'em.
thing.
And I get it. And you look at hockey. Actually, bring Jay down here because you look at hockey here and you look at hockey over there when he went to fucking Finland. Those fans were going fucking
Oh
nuts.
fuck! Reddit's gonna beat
Reddit's
the
gonna be
shit out
so
of you.
angry.
Reddit's
They were going nuts there.
great. Already a thread about it.
Unbelievable.
Finland
No, see, I think a lot of it too is
Anybody
just
on this fucking
hockey is a long
Reddit
season,
site.
man. Like just because Oilers fans aren't
Gotta
going,
sleep it off tomorrow though.
just because Oilers fans are going crazy, wild and loud for the Wednesday afternoon or Sunday afternoon game against the Panthers
I
or
would
whatever.
give them the Sunday.
I don't know
afternoon
how
game.
this conversation from Taylor Hall talking about New Jersey
Fans.
fans
the
turned to
fans,
us.
but the fans booing, and then you brought it up.
But I will speak to the fact that Edmonton against LA this year. That's the only game I've been in the building for so far. Is with Mike Smith giving away the 2 pucks at the start of the game. The fans were still fucking right there cheering on the team.
Yeah,
Cheering
and
on
you're
the boys.
right. There are times when they are, and there's times
Exactly.
when the whole fucking building goes nuts. But there's also times when it's fucking dead silent. You can hear what's being the conversation on their side of the fucking ice.
This
which is cool.
city,
I hate that. You gotta,
This-
you gotta cheer.
I want to hear
man.
the
You gotta-
coach
you gotta
whistling
cheer.
for the
No.
fans.
How many times in the playoffs are like, well, the fans kind of got them through that one.
In the playoffs,
I was
the
gonna
fans
say.
will get the Oilers through shit.
But if
in
we
the
don't
playoffs,
get to the playoffs, then what the fuck are we gonna do?
It's
Take
not
a
the
day
fans'
off on a
jo-
Wednesday.
No,
I
but
don't know, man.
The fan is short for fanatical. There's no logic behind. All you do is blindly cheer. And outside the game, I agree with you. Be critical, have these conversations, whatever. But during the 60 minutes, unless you're down 5-0 in the first period, man, get behind your team and fucking cheer.
No,
That's
I'm
what
not
you're there for.
That's not. I'm there to enjoy the hockey game. I don't.
You can enjoy it
you
better
are
on your
talking to-
television because you have a better view then.
You are talking to Tyler Yaremchuk, who
And
is
I
not
don't
allowed
mean
to
just
speak
you as in
to
general,
his
but I mean
seatmate.
as in people.
I'm talking about Tyler. Like, he doesn't cheer at all, you know?
Hey, I watched him on the Kiss Cam, and he could not have been quiet that night because he was very, very active at that. He was having a good night that night.
I don't enjoy the game by sitting there and screaming and chanting and all that. I want to sit, enjoy the game, watch the Oilers do well, cheer when they score. That's how I enjoy it. However,
he's the problem.
I might be the fucking problem, and I'm sure there's a lot of Oilers fans like me. I don't want to sit there and be doing the wave and shit.
No, and that's fair. Would you rather sit in a loud building or a quiet building? If
I know, but
you're not making any of the noise.
Tyler, do you get
you want to be in
mad
a,
at
you want to be
people?
in a loud place?
When the
or
crowd
quiet?
is great and bumping, it's good. But I don't blame the crowd when it's a Wednesday or a Tuesday or whatever, or a thirsty Thursday, when it's a little bit quieter.
Thursday, I was throwing back those beers on Thursday.
So was
$5
I.
a pop? Come on.
I ripped that promotion
Yeah,
so
man.
hard, and there's a photo of me on my Instagram with like 6 of them between me and my girlfriend, and that total hypocrite
I
move.
nailed 6 in the first period, no problem.
But no, I just think that sometimes people expect Rogers to just be this loud, crazy circus 24/7, and it's just not going to be that.
No, I would still expect it to be one of the louder buildings in the league.
What just happened over here?
I
just about did a spit take right there.
I just came up with a great title for this
Yep.
week's podcast,
It's
so I'm pretty
amazing.
excited about it.
I can't wait for the admin reveal.
I'm in.
It's going to be great. Tyler, you're just an inspiration for me. You're my muse, my friend.
Can I see it?
No. You'll see it when I send you the article. You'll see it when I send you the
to
article.
go back to Taylor Hall talking about New Jersey fans booing him, I think the biggest reason why these fans are booing is because of the expectations for that team going into the season.
They had a
That's
great
the biggest
offseason.
thing. Well, you could. I mean,
Exciting
they were,
offseason.
They were
How's that?
yes, they brought in big names like Subban, and then they drafted Hughes. So they had expectations. So the fact that they have 2 wins is probably why they're more upset than just being shitty fans, which is kind of how Taylor Hall makes it come across, where it's like, oh, they're just being bad fans, they're booing. It's because expectations were set in a maybe to a point that they shouldn't have been. Like
That's
Jack
sports,
Hughes,
though, right?
It's just
That's
easy.
sports.
It's easier
It
not
is.
to say anything, though. That's the thing.
for Taylor Hall.
Yeah.
You sit quietly and you stare at the ice.
No,
like Tyler.
yes, and give the guy credit for actually having a voice in a league that generally
That's fair.
doesn't.
That's fair.
But at the same time, it comes across a little whiny. It does.
I like it. I like when players say what's on their mind.
But like, so is Taylor Hall never going to be able to play in a place where they're critical? Is my question. Like, I don't know. Like, if he can't take New Jersey fans booing him, is he ever going to be able to play in a place like the Rangers?
Is he Zach Greinke? He can't handle it.
Wrong
Can't handle the
podcast.
truth.
Wrong podcast. The baseball podcast you record with the
Yes.
mics turned off
Yes.
on Tuesday mornings. Dan.
Yes.
He never
Well-
bitched about Edmonton, though, did he?
No, because Edmonton is fantastic. We've got fantastic fans that are always cheering for the Wave. And Cotton Eye Joe.
I wish we could
Tyler,
have a end of the game song like Liverpool does when they sing to all their players, win, lose, or draw. You don't walk alone.
We got Tarzan, boy, man. Well, that's going to wrap it up. That has been a busy episode of Oilers Nation Radio. Thank you all very much for being here and listening with us. Be sure to tell a friend, a colleague, a cousin, a family member, brother, sister, whatever you got. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ON Radio Podcast. Tomorrow, Saturday, November 2nd, we have got a brunch party happening at the Canadian Brew House in Lewis Estates. Game starts at 11. We will be there earlier than that. We've got a pop-up shop. Plenty of prizes to give away. Today, we put the Calgary trip for January 11th on sale at OilersNation.com. Check that out. We have got, 9, 10 spots gone already?
We do, yeah. And we're going to be giving away 2 spots tomorrow at the party.
Calgary trip's going to sell out very, very fast. It's
Sign me
going
up.
to go. Rick's going to be there. Dan's going to be there. Nick's going to be there. I'm going to be here. Be there. Tyler might come unless he's got something more important to go on. I also want to give a shout out to the Real Life Podcast. We're going to have former Oiler Zachary Stortini coming up on Tuesday. So you're going to want to check that one out. As always, thanks to Sherwood Ford, the Giant, skipthedishes.ca, and our brand new segment sponsor, Tourism Jasper, for making all of this possible. That is episode 60. Away we go.
Shout out Damien.
Best wishes. Thanks for listening to Oilers Nation Radio, a member of the Nation Network of Podcasts. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media to stay up to date and never miss a podcast.